Hello and welcome to the School Management Solution Summer EBT Enrollment. Just to understand the process. My name is Adler. I'm a supervisor at Roth & Company. Over the last few weeks, School Management Solutions, SMS, has received many calls from different clients regarding the enrollment process. How do they maximize on this EBT program? What's the requirements? So we compiled a list of the questions that we received and hopefully clarify through this webinar the process and what it will be needed to ensure all children get this program of the Summer EBT. Now, what is the process? The overview of the Summer EBT. The Summer EBT program is a federal program. It will be administered by New York State as well as other states throughout the country. But in New York State will be administering. The objective of the program is to ensure that each child receives meals of nutrition throughout the summer month. Many children will not be attending camp or enrolled in school during the summer. The idea is that they should be able to have nutritious meals throughout the summer. We will talk later on regarding what happens if a child is registered in a school or in a camp that is providing meals from the federal government as well. Will they be eligible for this program, or they will not be eligible for the program? We will get to that shortly, but that will be coming up. The main point of this program is to ensure that all children have the nutritious meals during the summer. Again, the funding is by the federal government. This is the United States government is giving this money, and it will be administered by the state agency. We'll discuss which agencies, what the enrollment process will be, what you will need to get enrolled, but the funding sources will be from the federal government. What is the process? How does it work? So the EBT card will be like a debit card that you will receive once you're eligible, and the school and the child or the guardian will do the necessary, what they need to do to get this taken care of. Then the debit card will be funded with money. This card you get in the mail. If you already have a card from previous years, from last year, or from 2 years ago, or from the pandemic, that card will just be reloaded with the funds once the process has taken place and the school has done their part and the parent or guardian has done their part. The funds will be uploaded to your card and you will get to spend the money accordingly and appropriately. If this is your first time entering this program, you will receive a card in the mail, and that will be your funding source. If you have children previously that were part of this program, but now you have another child that is eligible for the program. So this program works that it's not family-based, but it's child-based. So each child will have their own individual card with money loaded on it to spend on their nutritional values. For example, you have 6 children and 5 of them are eligible last year. You should have your 5 cards from last year. And your new child, your 6th child that's eligible this year, you'll be receiving an additional EBT card. If you have not been enrolled in previous years, then OTDA will reach out to you with the required information. And then once the whole process is done, they will send the recipient, the child, a card to spend the money. What can you use EBT program money for? This money that you get on this card, what can you buy with it? What are you allowed to buy with it? Where are you allowed to spend the money? So you can go to any grocery store like a SNAP card that accepts SNAP and use it there. But you can only use it for nutritional value, which means you could use it for fruits, vegetables, yogurts, meats, bread, milk, things of that nature. You can use it to buy over-the-counter hot food or pizza or things of that nature. It's really meant for nutritional value. The guidance, ironically, when it describes purchases that you're not allowed to take, they say specifically you can't use this to buy alcohol or tobacco products, but it gets more than that. It's not just, obviously, those are not applicable and not relevant for children. You can't even use it to buy diapers. You can't use it to buy spoons and plates. Meant specifically for nutritional value. Again, yogurts, meat, milk, things of that nature. That's what this program is geared to, and not necessarily anything that meets our eye in the grocery store, but it's the nutritional value that's in the grocery store. How much money are we talking about? How much do we actually get on this book? So it's going to be $120 per child that will be on this EBT card. That's how much you get. And again, like a SNAP card, either you have one from previous years that will be loaded. And once the eligibility process is done and you're eligible, you'll get that $120 loaded on there. And or you'll get a card in the mail if it's your first time use that you didn't, or you don't lost your card and you have to reach out to the appropriate website like either OTDA or NYSED to get your card. Once you get that, you get $120 to spend. Now, what's the age of the children? So this is 18 and under. So 18 and under doesn't mean like a newborn baby or a 1-year-old baby. It has to be a child that is going to be and is registered with a school that takes part in the school federal program that serves lunch. If they're part of a babysitter or something of that nature, but not necessarily part of a registered school that takes and provides lunch, they're not going to be eligible. But if you have a 3-year-old child that's enrolled in a pre-K or a 4-year-old child that's enrolled in a pre-K and the like, their school that they attend is part of the school lunch program, then that child as well will be admitted into this program, and you will be eligible to receive $120 for each one of those children, as long, again, as they meet the requirements and they're part of a school that is enrolled. What's unique about this plan is that it's a use it or lose it plan. What does that mean? You get it from your initial time when you get the funding is uploaded, which means you receive that notification, which we'll talk about later, how you get notified, but you got that notification that you are eligible and your card has been funded. You get that $120 to spend. You have 122 days to spend the money. You do not spend it within that required time, then you lose the money and it goes off your plan and you don't have access to that funding anymore. So like for argument's sake, let's say, God willing, you get enrolled and accepted on the first day possible on July 1st. You get that email, you get that text notification that you are funded, you're approved, the money has been added. So you get $120 to spend. You have it roughly till around October 31st, that 122 days to spend that money. So what is the coordination? How do we coordinate? Who do we need to coordinate? What's the basis to go around? So in New York State, you have the New York State Office of Temporary Disability Assistance, also referred to as OTDA. They work together with the State Education Department, the NYSED, and they coordinate this implementation of the program. Again, this is a federal program that the OTDA and the NYSED is working in tandem. They're coordinating with schools to make sure that all children that are eligible should participate and be able to use, and the basis of this nutritionist program, that they should be eligible. What basis do they use? They use the school's enrollment and demographic data, which, again, we're going to talk about this later. The hardest part of this process will be the census and the roster that will be needed to fill out by the school. That's going to be, it's not overly tedious, but it's not so simple. It's a little time consuming, but we will walk you through that. Once the OTDA and NYSED has the appropriate information, the demographic data, which says which children are eligible, which children are not eligible, their names and their birthdays and things of that nature, once that is uploaded correctly onto the portal, then you will hopefully be enrolled, and each guardian will receive a notification that their children that have eligible funding to be spent, again, it's that $120 in that time frame of use it or lose it from that 122-day time frame. Now, what is the responsibility of the school, right? The school is obviously, they have the data. They are in contact with the government. They know what's going on. What do they need to do for this process? So what is very important, will need to do on this roster, they identify which children are eligible and which children are not eligible for this. Additionally, what they want me to do is let the parents, the guardians know, by the way, we submitted this program for the summer EBT. We hope your children will be eligible. You should be getting a notification from OTDA. Look out for that. It's going to come in the mail, email, text messages. And again, to use it or lose it. And we want everybody to be able to capitalize this and get the proper nutrition for their children as appropriate. And the school needs just to coordinate like they do regularly with their food programs, just coordinate with the state agencies who are administering this federal program. Just enroll, be in contact with them, do follow the steps. It's not, again, not a tedious process. Just make sure that it's done methodically, thoroughly, and is done well. And then hopefully everybody will get full advantage and be able to use this program to its max. The demographic records will be very important. Again, we're going to talk about the roster later on, but the demographic records showing who's eligible, who's not eligible, will be the most important part of the school's process and responsibilities to make sure that that is done correctly. Now, how do you determine who's eligible? So if a child is receiving, they part receive SNAP or Medicaid or other sort of income determinations that determines that they're eligible, that means they will be eligible. And when you are filling out the roster, you check off, yes, they are eligible. If a child does not receive that and they're not income eligible, then you say, no, they're not eligible on criteria. And the school is getting the school lunch program, like we spoke about, that they have to be enrolled as administering a school federal lunch program. And their children that attend this school, if they're eligible, they could then be entitled to the summer EBT program. Now, if this is unique, it's different. Even though we're familiar with the school lunch program, that if a certain percentage of the school is eligible, the whole school automatically gets and becomes eligible, and they don't need to charge for lunch programs to their parent body. In this case, it's not looked at as a group, but it's an individual by individual basis, which means some children, even though they will be eligible for the lunch program provided by the federal government, they will not necessarily be entitled to the summer EBT program. Another very important point to remember and keep in mind is even if a child is registered part of a camp or part of a school that is serving the nutritious lunches during the summer months of July and August, and you would think, oh, they're already getting lunch, I don't not necessarily be entitled to my summer EBT. That is incorrect. They could be receiving the lunches from the meals from their camp or from their school during the months of the summer, during July and August, and still, if they meet the eligibility criteria for a summer EBT program, they will be able to obtain it as well. In addition to be getting the nutritious meals for the school and camp, they will be eligible to get the summer EBT as well. Now, what is my responsibility, or your responsibility as a guardian, as the person responsible for the child? To be in communication with the OTDA if needed. What does it mean if needed? If needed means that the school, let's say erroneously, when they filled out the roster, they thought you were not eligible, and it comes out, you are eligible. And they filled out no. So when you realize that I'm not getting any funding, and you determine speaking to the school administrator is because that, oh, they filled out that I wasn't eligible, but in reality, I am really eligible, then you go onto the OTDA portal, you speak to them, you work that out, and you fill out the necessary application process once you see that you didn't get it. But again, if you get it, you should be good to go, and you'll be getting that email notification and that mail or text message letting you know the funds are available to you to spend. But if not, you just be in touch with OTDA, communicate with them. This is a process. They want to help us. They want you to use this program. There's a statistic out there that over 2 million children in New York State are eligible. Roughly 85% of them will be, once it's done correctly, administered correctly through the school, will be enrolled right away. And roughly 15% will need a little bit of more documentation, a little bit more of a conversation with OTDA, but that is what the statistics out there are right now that the government is intending to provide for this program. Now, if a school, what should a school do as well? If you're a school that's not enrolled in the National School Lunch Program and then NSLP, then there's no action necessary. This is not applicable for you. Then if you don't serve lunches, part of NSLP, then this is not applicable for you and your student base as well. But if you are approved school food authorities, if you are an SFA, which means you are administering the school lunch program provided by the federal government, you should go to the NYSED business portal, download the roster, and get that process started to ensure that all children that are eligible will get this summer EBT and be able to use this program appropriately and accordingly throughout the summer. If you are an RA, a recipient agency, so what does that mean? Let's just clarify that for 1 second, which means you are not necessarily enrolled with the NSLP. You are not registered as somebody to provide lunches for your students, but you're affiliated with somebody who is an SFA, someone that is a school food authority. I'm affiliated with them, and my students are almost like enrolled with that other school as the provider. So again, the RA, the recipient agencies, you as well will want your student base and your students to be able to obtain this program throughout the summer. So you need to work with your SFA to ensure the roster, when they fill it out, it's done correctly, and who's eligible, who's not eligible, the applicable information is done correctly. And when the SFA submits it, they're going to submit one large roster with their information from their student bases. And additionally, anyone that is an RA affiliated with this SFA, it will be done together in tandem. Basically, it's going to be one long list and one long roster showing both schools, all the children that are on each school, it's going to be showing them there and not done separately. If the RA tries to do this and submit a roster by themselves, they will not be eligible, and unfortunately their students will not be able to obtain the summer EBT program. So it's just important to communicate with your SFA and be in touch and make sure that everybody gets to obtain this summer EBT program. Now, this is a little bit of what the roster looks like. Again, we're going to send out a follow-up information with detailed instructions and a detailed of what the roster will look like. This is something that you will download from the portal when you get there, and you're going to have to make sure that the information is entered correctly, right? And it's very important also to notice, like the font that is in the Excel, that when you download it, leave it the same font. Don't try to change anything. They have it done their specific way. Let's just keep it the way they have it, and we should be fine. If we try to change the way we put in the people's birthdays or the other our beds code or something differently that we think we're going to know better, not worth it. Just let it be as it is, follow their same format, and put it in correctly. Again, this is important that we will send out what you must fill out, what you don't need to fill out, what you make sure is done correctly. If you're not sure what your bed's code identification is, how to get that, how to get your specific school to know what is important to you, what your codes are, then you could check the CERDF, the SEDREF, their website, to make sure that you have the proper beds code and your proper information when you want to enroll your students for this program. And again, it's going to be, once this roster is uploaded, hopefully your parents and the guardians will get that notification, hopefully around July 1st, and they will get $120 per eligible student on this program for that be part of this card. And if they have cards from last year, the cards will be re-uploaded with money. If they're going to get new cards, hopefully they'll get new cards, and they'll get for all their children that enrolled with a school from pre-K through 12th grade through 18, from 3 through 18. Hopefully everybody will be eligible, and whoever should deserve this program gets to be able to have nutritious meals throughout the summer. I'm excited actually to roll out to you at this time that the school management solution is opening up a school funding exchange. The idea will be to have an online community that of all like-minded people that we could interact and exchange information and ideas. That people that were looking to obtain certain government funding, they don't know how to go about it. What do I need to do? Am I eligible? What's out there for me? What can I do to help and get my students better services, what I can do to help get better grants, what do I need to do, what's the processes, has anyone walked through this information, what can I do if I have this issue come up, if I have something that I need to speak with over somebody. It's going to be a community that everybody, we're all here for the benefit of the children, that we could reach out, and if anyone has questions, they could ask somebody and someone could answer, and it's going to be an exchange. The idea will be a continued conversation to make sure that we able to obtain the funding and then whatever is necessary to ensure that the children have a healthy, safe environment. That is the ultimate goal of this website. It's going to be rolling out really soon. You guys can go on there and check it out. It's going to be a fantastic portal for everybody to help with this situation, to be able to be one cohesive, coherent group when it comes to know how to deal and what the best way to go about administering a school and to keep it funding and accordingly and appropriately. I'd like to thank everybody that logged on and joined this webinar. I hope it's been informative. It's been a pleasure speaking with you. And if you have any questions, please feel free to reach out to us. We will be sending out a follow-up email with instructions, with a sample of the roster, which again is the most important part of this process, to ensure that everybody is eligible, gets it done, and if they're not eligible, they shouldn't be marked as they're not eligible, and the correct and appropriate birthdays and all that information that we have all the data already. Just put it together, compile it, and upload it, and get the process rolling. We will send it out to you shortly, but thank you very much for coming. If you have any further questions or anything you're not sure about, please reach out to us at School Management Solutions at info@smsny.net or 718-480-5606. Thank you very much and have a good day.